In this demonstration, we're going to look at creating an application from an MSI file. Once we create the application, we'll modify the application as well. So to create the application, I've come to my software library workspace in my config manager console. I've come to application management node, come to applications node, we'll right click and we'll create an application. What we need to do is just specify the location of the MSI file. And in my case, that's going to be //lon-cfg /software /MSI files /xlviewer /xlview.msi. Now we've done that, we'll select our next button. Then what it's going to do is just going to import all this information into Config Manager. Then what we'll do is select our next button, and what we have on the general page is we can fill out some of the information. So one of the things we're going to do at this point here is, I'm fairly happy, I'm going to call it Microsoft Excel Viewer. What we've also got at this point here as well is I can put in administrator comments, which I'm not going to bother with. But what I can do at this point here is just in the publisher, let's have that as Microsoft. Then on the software version, at this point here, let's type in the software version. I'm just going to make that 12.0.4518.1069. Not going to bother with any optional references. Let's create a category though. So we'll create a new category, and let's just create this category as, let's call these viewers. So we'll put in viewer at that point there, and we'll select OK. Happy with it being in that admin category. That's just going to make it easier for me to search for. We'll select OK at this point here. Have a look down here. I'm happy with the installation program. I'm happy that I'm going to install this for a system, but I could install for a user. If the application is against a user and a system collection, we can say install for system if it resources a device, otherwise install for user. Let's just leave it as the default install for system and select next. Read through everything. Happy with the summary, select next. That's going to create my application now. Then at this point here, we'll just select close. Now we've created the application, let's just modify it. So we'll right click on the application, just come down to its properties. And on its properties, what we have is, just on the general page, we've got the general information. So relating to really what we already entered in when we created the application. Then what we've got is we have our application catalog. So what we can do at this point here is we can specify select language, localized application name. Let's create a user category to make this easier for our users to search for. And what we'll do is we'll just call this one viewers. And then we'll select OK. Happy with everything else, let's select OK. If I had user documentation, I could browse through to it. I could put in link text, privacy URL, just to cover my back within my company. We can also specify a localized description. Let's just put in a keyword of, let's make that viewer. So, and then what we'll do is we can also as well, if we wish, we can modify the icon. So let's just browse through. And all we'll do at this point here is we'll browse through to SQL on Windows. We'll go for System 32. And then in System 32, all we'll do is we'll just find our images res.dll file. So we'll just scroll this down a bit, and all we're looking for here is just looking for the images file. Once we've found that file, we'll just open that file up. And then all we'll do is we'll just select an icon. So let's select an icon that might point to Excel Viewer. Scroll this through, I'm sure something will pop up. Keep going, and we'll find something that sort of relates to Excel. Let's have that one. And we'll select OK, so we now have that icon in place. Then what we've also got as well, if we look along here, we've got our references tab, so we don't have any relationships for this application, it doesn't depend on anything. If we look at distribution settings, so distribution priority will be medium. So if we're distributing lots of packages or applications at this point here, this has medium priority. We can enable it for on-demand distribution, so we'll only distribute it if a user actually requests it. If we look at our deployment types, what we've got here is we've got our Microsoft Excel Viewer. Now things that we can do with this MSI file, click the edit button. So we have the ability on the general page, just general information. We can see the current content. We can see the programs associated with this application. We can see a detection method, so if it's already installed, don't install it again, for example. We can see the user experience, so we'll install for system. We'll do that whether or not a user is logged in, or only when a user is logged in, or when a user is not logged in. Installation program visibility is hidden, minimized, normal, or maximized. Then what we'll do is allow users to interact with program installation, yes and no. Maximum allowed runtime for this installation, 120 minutes. Now if it takes 120 minutes to install a viewer, I think I've got a few issues. Let's just drop that at 30 minutes. Estimated time to install, let's also make that 30 minutes, and that will affect our maintenance windows. Down at the bottom here, determine behavior based on return codes. Here's my return codes. So we can see if we get that value, it means that. If we get 1707, it means success, no reboot. If we get 1641, it means hard reboot. If we look at requirements, we can also specify requirements for an application. So let's just say in the case of this Excel viewer, we'll only install if total physical memory has a value greater than or equal to, and let's just say a gig of RAM. And select OK. And what we'll also do as well, if we just select add, what we'll also do at this point here is we'll go for a user. And what we'll say at this point here, condition is primary device and value equals true. So we'll only install this application on the user's primary device and select OK. Dependencies, so software dependencies are deployment types that must be installed before this can be installed. So we might have some dependent applications here. And install behavior, all we're going to do at this point here, we're not going to specify any executables that must be closed before we install this app, but this could be something maybe like a dependency application that we need to close to reinstall. So we'll select OK. Then what we'll do, content locations, I haven't distributed the content yet, it's not replacing anything. And finally, security tab is who can manage this application. Now we've done all of that, we'll just select OK. So we've created now and modified our application. And that's the end of this demonstration. Thank you.